Imagine a ghost train, thundering through the dark English countryside. It is 3 in the morning. This is the Royal Mail Up Special train, a monster of steel and steam on its nightly run from Scotland to London. But this was no normal mail train. It was a rolling bank vault, a secret treasury on wheels. Inside its special carriage was a river of cash, old bills being sent to be destroyed. It was a target that seemed impossible to catch. One man saw this train not as a ghost, but as an opportunity. His name was Bruce Reynolds. He was a thinker, a planner, a man who saw crime as an art form. He was known for his style and his very big ideas. Bruce did not just want money. He wanted to create a masterpiece. He dreamed of a heist so clever, so bold, that people would talk about it for 100 years. He was looking for the perfect score. He found the train's secret weakness. It was all about timing. The heist was planned for just after a long August bank holiday weekend. This was a special 3-day weekend in England. Because of the holiday, banks had been closed. All the money they collected for days was now packed onto this one train. It was carrying a huge amount of extra cash, far more than on a normal night. Most criminals would think of a high-speed chase. But Bruce Reynolds and his crew had a much more clever idea. Their plan was the opposite of a chase. They would not follow the train at all. Instead, they would make the train stop for them. The plan was to take control of the railway signals. By changing a green light to red, they could force the train to halt in a quiet, dark spot they had chosen. This simple idea was pure genius. No dangerous chase, no loud explosions. The train, with all its treasure, would simply brake and stop right where the gang was waiting in the shadows. But the plan needed special skills. This was not a job for just any tough guy. They needed a team of experts, and the most important one was a man nobody knew. He was a retired train driver, and his job was to move the train's engine to the perfect spot for the getaway. To make their plan work, the team needed a secret helper. They had an inside man who knew everything about the mail train. This person, known only as the Ulsterman, shared the train's hidden secrets. He told them the exact date a huge amount of old money was being moved, making him the key to their perfect timing. The tools for stopping the train were genius because they were so simple. They didn't use any high-tech computers or tricky electronics. Their main tool was a simple black leather glove. A team member would just climb the signal pole and slip the glove over the green light, making it go dark. To create the red stop signal, their tool was just as basic. They took 6 large batteries and wired them to a small red lens. When they connected the last wire, the light would glow brightly. To the train driver, it would look exactly like a real stop signal, forcing him to hit the brakes. But one tiny detail could wreck the entire plan. All along the tracks, there were emergency telephones. The train's crew could easily hop out, pick up a phone, and call the next signal box. The alarm would be raised in seconds, and the robbery would fail before it even began. The crew needed to create a cone of silence. To solve the telephone problem, they were ruthless. Just before the heist, a crew member moved silently along the tracks in the dark. With a pair of heavy wire cutters, he snipped every single telephone line in the area, cutting the train off from the outside world. The whole operation was set up with military precision. The first location was a lonely spot on the tracks called Sears Crossing. This was the trap. Here, the fake red signal would shine, bringing the powerful train to a screeching halt in the middle of nowhere. About a mile down the track was the second key location, a small bridge named Bridego Bridge. This was the unloading zone, chosen because the steep banks would hide their work from the road above. Here, the team planned to move the money from the train to their hidden vehicles. Waiting in the darkness near the bridge was their escape fleet. They brought a huge army truck, strong enough to carry tons of cash. They also had 2 powerful Land Rovers, perfect for driving across bumpy fields and disappearing into the night where police cars could not follow. Then, the moment arrived. The quiet night was broken by a distant rumble that grew into a deafening roar. The mail train came thundering down the tracks, its powerful headlight cutting a bright path through the darkness. The team held their breath as the metal giant raced toward their trap. With a flick of a switch, the plan was in motion. The green signal went black, and the fake red light glowed brightly. Inside the engine, the driver saw the unexpected signal, and his heart jumped. He slammed on the brakes, and the massive train screamed as its steel wheels locked up, showering the tracks in a shower of sparks. The plan was supposed to be a gentleman's crime. No one gets hurt. But the train driver, Jack Mills, was brave. He refused to stand down and fought back against the masked men who swarmed his engine. The perfect plan was starting to crack. In the chaos, the promise of a peaceful job was broken. One of the robbers, panicking, brought a heavy metal bar down on the driver's head. This was not supposed to happen. The clean, clever heist had just turned messy and dangerous. Now came the next step: move the train. The cruise specialist, a retired train driver, climbed into the cab. He took one look at the controls and froze. His face turned white. This was not the train he knew. The whole plan was about to fall apart. The engine was a brand new English electric Type 4, a model he had never seen before. He couldn't make it move. The prize was just feet away, but the train was a useless metal box. With the clock ticking, the crew had to think fast. They made a desperate choice. They dragged the dazed and injured driver, Jack Mills, back to his feet and forced him to drive his own train to the bridge. Miraculously, he did it. The train rolled slowly to the exact spot. Once it stopped, the crew showed their power. They formed a long human chain from the train car to the truck, passing the heavy mail bags one by one in a perfect, fast rhythm. With the bags loaded, they vanished into the night. Their Land Rovers and truck raced through the dark, winding country roads. Their destination was a secret hideout they had prepared, a lonely place called Leather Slade Farm. Inside the farmhouse, they dumped the bags onto the floor, the room filled with the sight of their victory. 120 mailbags, heavy with cash, were piled high. They had done it. It was a mountain of money. The crew stared at $2.6 million, a score so big it was hard to believe. They celebrated their incredible success, feeling like kings who had just conquered a kingdom. But in their moment of triumph, they made a fatal mistake. The police were closing in faster than they expected, and they had to abandon the farm in a hurry. They were ordered to wipe the place clean of fingerprints, but in their rush, they forgot one small thing: a Monopoly board they had used to pass the time, now covered in their prints. The crew played a board game at their hideout, using real money from the heist. They had fun, thinking they were safe. But they left the game behind when they fled. This was a very big mistake. On the game board and the fake money, they left their fingerprints. The police would find these prints. It was like they signed their names to the crime. Their clever plan was about to be ruined by a simple game. A person living near the farm saw people coming and going. He thought it was strange. He told the police about the old farmhouse. This was the lucky break the police needed to find the hideout. Police cars rushed to the farm. They surrounded the old buildings, ready for anything. But when they went inside, they found it was empty. The crew was gone, but they had not disappeared without a trace. The farmhouse was a goldmine of clues. The police found the empty mailbags from the train. They found food wrappers and sleeping bags. It was clear a big group had been hiding there, counting their millions. Everywhere they looked, there was more evidence. The robbers had tried to wipe the place clean of fingerprints. They used gloves and wiped down many surfaces. They thought they had erased all signs of their stay. But in their hurry, they missed things. They forgot a ketchup bottle. They forgot the Monopoly game. These small items held the fingerprints that would lead police right to them. The police carefully collected every single clue. Each fingerprint was a key to unlocking a name. The net was closing. The faces of the masterminds were slowly being revealed to the world. The Great Train Robbery started one of the biggest manhunts ever. Pictures of the wanted men were everywhere. Police all over the country joined the search. The crew had the money, but they had nowhere to hide. For the robbers, the dream was over. Now, it was a race to escape. They split up, each man for himself. But with their faces on every newspaper, staying free would be their most impossible challenge yet.